Good morning to all of you. So till now, only 3 of you have joined. So okay, no issue. Let others join as per their time. While we are continuing or we are starting our classes, we are going to continue. So the topic or the thing is that we are having discussion on in the previous classes in the part of the process of SVM, the linear separable things. These are the topics we have a discussion. What is the supervised and unsupervised? We are trying to talk on that particular part, right? Now, coming to the next part of it, there is some learning, the means the process of the learning, the techniques of the learning processes. In this context, in this part of learning processes, we are going to talk on two type of things. One is an assemble learning, and second one is a probabilistic learning. Okay, so assemble learning and probabilistic learning, these two things we are going to talk about. And in the part of this assemble learning, there are some schemes. There is some model combination schemes, that is error coding output, error correction output code, bagging, boosting. This type of part will become. And probabilistic learning, we'll have a Gaussian mixture model, the exception maximizing algorithm, nearest neighbor method, nearest neighbor smoothing, distance measure. This type of part will come, right? So let's talk on each of the topics. Let's have a discussion on this topic. First one, that is an introduction, that is known as assemble learning, right? What is an assemble learning? So if I write the name, assemble learning. So what is this assemble learning actually? What is this assemble learning? So this assemble learning is a technique or usually produce or a learning process that is usually produce more accurate solutions a single model could. So this assemble learning usually produces more accurate solutions on a single model. So we have a single model, and if we are trying to get a accurate solutions on that, so this assemble learning process is a process that is helping us. So this assemble learning is actually a technique that creates multiple models and then actually combining them to produce a accurate or more improved result. But the multiple models will be considered here as a single model. So this assemble learning is a technique that is creating or breaking that single model into a multiple model and then combining it into the procedure or into the production of a accurate result. So we can say this is a divide and conquer approach. First, the model is getting divided, and then it will be conquered again. It will be again merged to get an accurate output, right? So this assemble learning usually produces more accurate solution than a single module would. So this method, this assemble learning method, is applied to regression as well as classification. Where it can be needed, first one, it can be work in the regression as well as the classification. In these two parts, we can actually use this assemble learning process. We can use this assemble learning technique. Okay. Now, what is the part or what is the scenario of this assemble learning in the process? Assemble learnings for regression. What is for the part of regression? It creates multiple repressors, such as the multiple regression models into the linear, polynomial, etc. So these are the multiple repressors assemble learning is going to create for the regression purpose, and for the classification purpose, it creates multiple classifiers, just as logistic, decision trees, SVM, this type of classifiers for the process of classification. So multiple repressors for the regression process and multiple classifier for the classification process. So we can write here in the part of regression, that is multiple repressor used here for the part of this regression, and we can write here as classification multiple classifiers. So these are the two things are present here as the multiple regression and multiple classifier for the part of this assemble learning, right? So if we draw a particular assemble learning view, how the scenario is actually looks like. So it will be first the thing class prediction. Okay, so we have a class prediction here. Then after that, in the scenario, we have several combiner. So there will be a part that is known as combiner. Then here there will be several classifier up to means how many classifier if we needed. Okay, so classifier we can make term that as classifier 1. Suppose it is classifier 2. Suppose up to we can say dot 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 up to suppose we can classifier n. Okay, so suppose n number of classifiers. So these classifiers are known as the input features. This is known as the input features. Now, if we combine all the things, so how the scenario will look like? So this is my input features. These are my inputs. So classifier 1, classifier 2, maybe up to dot 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 classifier n. We have a combiner here that will combine all the things, and then at the end it will be class prediction. So it will start from the bottom to up approach, bottom to top approach. So this input classifier here first will be, it is actually the classifier that is actually addressing. So this is a particular part. This is a particular scenario. This is a particular scenario. Then all the things will be combined here, right? And then the class will be predicted. Then the class will be predicted. So here the scenario, this is the assemble learning view, actually the basic view of this assemble learning. So here, what are the components that combine? We have a term here that is known as combine. So which of the components we need to combine here? What are the things we need to combine here, right? So what are the components need to combine? Components need to combine. First, that is we have the algorithm. We have different learning algorithms that is need to combine here. So different learning algorithms. Okay. Second, which one need to combine? That is the same learning algorithm trained in different ways. Same learning algorithm trained in different ways. And third one, same learning algorithm that has been trained in the same way. Same learning algorithm that is trained in the same way. So there are three scenarios that need to be components, or three components that need to be combined here. That need to be combined. That different learning algorithms. So we can use different learning algorithms. Otherwise, we can use same learning algorithm that is trained in the different ways. And we can use the same learning algorithm that is trained in the same way. So these are the three particular parts by which, or three particular components that is need to combine into the combiner part of this assemble learning view. Now there are two steps in this assemble learning. So this machine learning models, there are multiple machine learning models, right? We know that there are several machine learning models that we can use or that can generated using same or different machine learning algorithm. Model it can be same, or on that particular model we can use different or same type of algorithms. This is called a base model, and this prediction perform on the basis of this base model. The prediction that is happening, it is part, or it is by the view of this base model, right? So these techniques are, what are the techniques and methods in the process of this assemble learning? I have already told you the name in the start, that is error correction, output course, bagging, boosting, AdaBoost, or stacking. These are the techniques or the methods in the part of this assemble learning. So these techniques are there that is helping in the part of this assemble learning techniques. Right now, the scheme that is combining the different scheme, that we have three scenarios that define the different learning algorithms that can be combined. same learning algorithm that is tried in different ways that can be combined, and same learning algorithm that is tried in the same way or trained in the same way that can be combined. So this model, or these are the combinations, or combining this multiple linear parts. These are in basic, these are the successful models. So out of n number of successful trials in the past days, these are the most effective that have been found out, right? So now what we are going to talk, we are going to discuss on the model that is composed of multiple linears of this type of components by combining them to attain a more accurate result, to attain a more accurate result. So in this model combining scheme, we have this multiple base learners or linears that is combining all the situations by combining the multiple learners of the component to generate a final output, to generate a final output, right? Fine. Now in this part of this, there are three steps actually: multiple data sets, build multiple classifiers, combining the classifiers, all of the scenarios. Okay. Okay. So this idea, how the thing is combined, how the thing is getting combined, right? So we will, let's draw a particular scenario that will be very easy to understand. Okay, so let me first clear this one. Okay, so what is the scenario? Suppose this is my original training data. Consider it as my original training data. Fine. Okay, so suppose consider it as my original training data. Now from this original training data set, we are trying to create multiple data sets. From that particular scenario, we are trying to create multiple data sets. Okay, suppose there are n number of data sets have been created, and then we are trying to build multiple classifiers. We are trying to build multiple classifiers, right? So consider that these are my multiple classifiers. And at the end, all the classifiers is going to combine. All the values of the classifier is going to be combined, right? So if we draw the scenario, if we actually draw the combination, so this is my original training data set that has been actually break into multiple data sets, that has been divided into this multiple data sets. Okay, and this multiple data sets build the multiple classifiers. From here, there may be multiple classifiers have been built, and at the end all the results are combined into this particular combiner. So this is a general concept or general diagrammatic view we can talk about of combining the multiple linears. So first one, the steps, that is original training data. It is starting from where we are getting multiple data sets. So we are getting some multiple type of data sets, suppose up to n number of data set dot dot dot. Okay, so suppose consider this is my 1, this is my data set 2, this is my data set 3. Okay, this is my data set 4 up to dot dot, this is my data set n. Okay, then we are trying to build multiple classifiers. So suppose here are multiple classifiers, and again suppose n number of classifiers are present, 1 2 3 4 up to dot 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 n number of classifiers, and at the end this is the combined part, combination of all the classifiers. So this is the part, or this is the thing. So what is the basic scenario? We can understand that original training data set are divided into the multiple data set, and then for that we are dividing a multiple classifiers. We are building some multiple classifiers, and then it is going to again combine to give us a accurate result or some predictive result, to get a correct output. Now this combination, there is some, we can say that multi-expert combination methods are also present for the base learner that is works in parallel, right? So we can see there are parallel things for D1 to C1, D2 to C2, D3 to C3. So these are the multiple combinations or multiple parallel scenarios are going on, right? So this method, we can say there are two approaches we can actually talk. First one, a global approach. Second one, a local approach. So global approach means in general term that give all the input and base learner generates an output, and this output are used for upcoming future references. And in local approach, that it is a mixture of the things of experts and the models or the model or the inputs, which looks at the input and choose the one or the learners to get an output, to generate an output. So it is depending, the local approach is depending on the, say, the input. So it is looking and choosing the input and then for the learners, and then it is responsible to generating an output. Whether for the global approach, it is a mixture, it is actually a base learning that is generated or the inputs from all the inputs, and then it is really generated from all the inputs, is actually getting generated, right? Then after that, there is a part of multi-stage combination. So we can say there are each of these stage, we are having an idea where in the stage one, the data set or the training data set are getting divided. In the stage two, we are building some multiple classifiers, and the stage three, we are actually combining the classifiers to get a predictive output, we can say, right? So this is a part, or this is one technique we have talked about, that is the combining multiple linear learners, combining multiple linears or model combination scheme. There is one more technique here present that is known as voting. The second term that we can talk about here, that is known as, wait a minute, voting. So it is another assemble learning technique, that is voting, or we can say this voting is the simplest way to combine multiple classifiers, actually, which is corresponding taking a linear combination for the learning process, for the learning processes, right? So we have, if we want to get back to 2 or 3 back classes where we are actually talking about the perceptron, where we are drawing some inputs, having some hidden layers, all of the things, and we are writing some functions like this, like y equal to summation of, okay, just a minute. Okay, summation of then x and w. So xi wi. So this is a combination. We have write this type of simple expression, mathematical expression for the purpose. So this is actually, this is also known as an assemble or a linear option schools or linear technique. Or voting is basically depending on this particular scenario, right? So in a simplest case, all the learners are given or having some equal weights, or having simple voting that corresponding to the average. So in that particular diagram, in the particular expression, if we go for the diagram of the perceptron, so we have a particular input, so we have a fixed input, and we have an output, or we have a weight that can be adjusted or the calculated. Means we are adjusting, means we are trying to voting. So this is the term voting is referred here, that taking the weightage, the sum of all the weightages and combining it as with the multiple of inputs to get an output, to generate an output, and to check whether it is actually matching with the thing. If not, then what we are doing, we are actually adjusting our weightage. We are actually trying to adjust our weightage to get a better output, to get a proper output. This is a term, or this is the simplest way for the process of voting. And while for the voting, we have some rules, or we have some actually mathematical statistical rules that we have learned in our previous semester, that is median, mode, minimum, maximum, product. These are the terms, or these are the statistical equations or statistical concepts that is helping us for the part of this voting, that is helping us for the part of this voting process, right? So what is mean, what is median, what is mode, we have already discussed in our previous semester. Right. So this is the basic. I'm trying to getting an introduction with the basics. Then there is error correction output code. There is another technique that is known as error correction output code. So in this part of error correction output code, in this technique, it is actually allows multiple classification problem that is going to be reframed as multiple binary classification problem. So previously we have some multiple class classification problem that is actually changed here as a term of multiple binary classification problem, and this is helping us for the native binary classification models to use directly. So when you have a binary classification model, there is some binary data, binary things, binary inputs, and we are trying to work on that. So for that binary scenarios, this is actually the binary classification model, that is error correction output codes, error correction output code. So where we can say we have a clear idea that by the name that the inputs and the outputs are almost is a binary format, means it will consist only the value of 0 and 1. So maybe it can be +1, it can be -1, but the combination of 0 and 1 it will be there for this error correction output coding or error correction output code actually, right? So this is the another simplest process. There are some more that is known as random forest. It is an assemble learning method also, where multiple decision trees are constructed and they are merged to get a more accurate prediction. So another process we can write here that is known as random forest. Okay, so this is another technique that is used in the part of this assemble learning method, right? Where what happened that a tree are constructed and they are merged to get a more accurate prediction. So we can consider it is a graph and tree problem. We are trying to get a tree shape diagram where we are trying to make some branches and all the things to get a particular output. So how a tree is drawn. So we all know that there can be starting from here. So it will be our base. Then again, this will be divided into several parts. Each of these will be divided into several parts actually. Right. So these of these are actually parts. So from that, from the tree instances, suppose consider it as a T1. This is consider it as tree 2. Consider it as tree 3. Then what happened? We, for each of these, we are getting a class C, class A, class B, class C. Consider that we are from that we are getting a class A. From here we are getting a class B. From here we are getting a class C. Right. So these are the several trees that we can talk about. Class A, class B, class C. And then at the part we are have a majority voting, we are going to check that which of these is getting actually much vote, and that will be decided as the final class. So a tree shape diagram is used here. For the tree shape diagram is helping us to get the result or to predict an output depending upon what majority is voting or of it is getting, provided that there is a variety, because there is every variety in the tree 1, tree 2, tree 3, because tree number n. So there are different type of varieties, but which have giving us a much better output or much having majority type of vote for a result, right? So this is for the majority voting, and then we are going to take at is the voting class. So this is known as the part of the process of random forest. So what is the outline or what is the algorithm of a random forest outline? What happened? There are three parts. Okay, the random forest algorithms actually generate many classification trees. This random forest algorithm generates many classification trees. Each tree is generated by the following things. What? First, if the number of the examples in the training set is n, suppose there are n number of training set, we have to take a sample of n examples at random. So we are taking some random example, random from that particular n number of examples with some replacement from the original data. This is considered as the training set for generating the tree, right? So to generate the tree, we need some training set, and that training set we are actually trying to gather in a random way. So the number of examples in the training set is n, taking a set of example of n. Now, second part, if there are m input variables, a number of m is specified such that at each code, m variables are selected at random out of that m, and split or use of m is used to split the node. Now, from the random forest or from the random example for the training set, now we are actually trying to split the m number of input variables into the particular nodes. That is actually the part 2 where the class A, class B, we are actually drawing the T1, T2. So this T1, T2 is actually the nodes from where it is having the m input variables, and deciding upon all the m input variables, it is going to be part divided into the nodes, and each tree is can be extended up to the possible or the largest possible values. The tree is can be extended. So these are the first part. Now second part, to classify. So here the training part is done. We have done the training with n number of random input variables. Then all the m input variables is divided into the nodes, right? Now if a new object needs to test or needs to be part of the input vector to classify, we need to put the input vector in each of the trees of the forest to check that in which trees of the forest, in which tree we are getting a maximum match. We are getting a maximum match or maximum both. Both means that up to how much value it is actually matching, up to how much part it is actually matching. This is the part or the board for the classes. Then the forest choose the classifier. So that particular new input vector value will be introduced to each of the trees, that is tree1, tree2, up to particular mode of tree n. In each of the trees, to consider or to decide that which one is best or which one is giving us a much accurate result, right? And then we can actually predict the output from this particular process. Just a minute. So the thing is here that the implementation of this is very easy actually, because we are actually dividing the n number. We are taking a random n input. Then we are actually we are actually trying to train them. And then all the m number of inputs actually divided into the nodes of that n inputs of that n random trees. That m number of nodes is actually divided according to the matching of the random training data sets. Then if a new input vector is coming, we are going to put that in each of every tree to check that which one is giving us a better result or which is giving us a better output, right? So this is a particular process of random forest. So this in this random forest, one thing that we need to talk or that is need to mention that the sample we are taking a random sample, and this random samples we need to take up to much, means not the less. The random needs to be almost the half of the maximum number inputs, because if we take less, then depending upon the random inputs, random variables, whatever the data is actually generated, the trees that is going to be generated will not be that up to the mark, right? So to create that tree, to generate that tree, the number of random inputs will be following, not all the, means if there is 100, then at least 50% of random inputs or be there, so that we can have a proper tree. We can create a proper tree, right? So this is just a precaution we can say. Now, what is the strength? We are trying. We are say that which is very simplest process or very easy process to work on, right? So what is the advantage or what is the strength we can say, or what is the weakness of this random forest? Strength we can talk about on the random forest, that is efficiency on the large database. So if we have a large number of database, then it will run in an efficient way. Second, it can handle thousands of input variables without variable deletion. So we don't need to delete any variables. We can put it into the several trees. Generating a forest, we can actually create that forest and we can use that. You can use this in the future reference also. Estimates of what variables are important in the classifications, we can easily estimate from the trees that what variables are important. Quite fast, it actually runs quite fast and able to deal with any missing data or unbalancing data. So it is actually quite fast. Also the binary features, categorical features, we are classifying all the things. These are the strengths of the random forest. And talking about the weaknesses, that the weakness is only that in this random forest, when we use for regression, if we are trying to use it as the part of regression, it cannot predict beyond the range of the training data. So for regression, it is not very much helpful. And the models, the size of the models created by this random forest are very large. So there are the storage issue, means the number of storage that needs to be allocated, that can be an issue in the part of this random forest, right? So this is the weakness, or these are the weakness of this random forest. So we can say that weaknesses are very little, maybe 2 or 3, but in spite of that, the random forest strength is very much, and that is very useful in the part of this essence learning model, essence learning method, that is very useful. Right? Then in the next scenario, we have another part that is known as the boosting. So we are not going to miss this boosting up to we are going to talk. So what is this boosting actually? In the part of this boosting, it actually train the next learner or the mistakes that were made by the previous learner. So the part of or the concept of boosting is that previously a learner have worked on that, and now if a new learner is going to work, or new user is going to work, then the new user will first learn what are the mistakes have done in the previous part from the previous learner, and then they will not run again those mistakes. So this boosting is helping us to generate a complementary base for the learners before the past mistakes done by the previous learners. So this means in the part of this boosting concept, a weak learner or the strong learner is there. So if a learner who is the previous learner may be a weak learner, but the new user is a strong learner, that can become. So the strong learner has arbitrary small error capability. So the learner concept is there. So the learner needs to be very strong, a very good idea on that. What happened? The scenario is same, the split the data set of the previous, whatever the tree concept we are talking about, the same thing is part of there. But if any mistake, whatever the mistakes have done there, whatever the drawbacks are present in that, we need to learn from the past examples, and then we need to put it into the part of this boosting. So why we need to do this? What is the importance of doing this? That the error rate will be reduced. So maybe if this tree concept is actually drawing for the first time, then there can be maybe error. But if we are if any new learner is working it again or working on that particular thing again, then maybe the error rate will be less, because whatever the past failures, whatever the past mistakes were there, we have already learned, and the new user will not learn those mistakes again, right? So this is the part of this boosting. So up to this particular part, up to particular topic of boosting, we are going to talk, and we are going to stop it today. We are going to continue the next techniques, next topics in the next classes. Okay, so up to this.
Sir, I need advice. Can I call you?
Yes, you can call me after the class.
Yes, after the class. I don't have your number. Can you give it to me, please?
Okay. providing it into the chat box.
Okay, sir.
Provided it into the chat box. You can check and call me.
Yes, sir, I got it.
Okay.
Thank
Fine.
you, sir.
So after this particular part of particular process, we are going to talk or we are going to discuss. Okay. So these are the several topics or these are the several processes or the learning processes that is the part in the help of this machine learning. The techniques or the things. Look, the thing is that theoretically we need to learn this or we need to know this before applying this. But while we are applying this into the scenarios, we don't remember all of these names. What we do, we just apply all the methods or trying to find a best solution, best possible approach to get a result or to predict a particular result. Right. So while we are working in general, when we are working into the on a particular problem, we don't remember so much names, so much logic, all the things. But we are working to get a particular achieve or to achieve a particular output. But at the end, we don't know, maybe we have used any one of these. But at the end, after the process, working process have done, we have executed, then we think that what process, what are the application we have done, what are the techniques we have used here so that we can match it. So to know that, to do that, we need to learn this particular techniques process on what technique we are actually using. Fine. So after this particular process, after this particular part, we are going to talk today, and we are going to continue with from here in the next class, right? So I hope all of you have write your names in the chat box. If no one does, write your names in the chat box so we can have your attendance. So all of you kindly write your names in the chat box for the attendance. Okay, so I think all of you have write your names in the chat box. Fine. So okay, thank you all for joining the session. We will meet into the next class again. And Subhash, you can just call me after just 1 minute at the class ends. Okay. Fine. Thank you.